talking back and said, you're one of the most athletic guys he's been around. Did you ever hear of that comment that he made?
Yeah, I heard it. It's a real honor, with all the linebackers he's been around over the years. It's a real honor that he feels that way.
You've missed some time in your career due to injury, both in high school and then this spring. How good is it just to be playing football on a consistent basis once again?
It's a blessing playing the sport you love. Injury is a part of the sport. It happens, but to be able to bounce back and keep playing is a real blessing.
How do you feel those injuries have impacted your development?
I don't feel like they impacted it really too much. I feel like I took my rehab real serious, so I feel like I bounced back. I feel better than ever.
Smael, how would you decide or define this inside linebacking group?
Hard-working, tough, smart, physical, just hard-working guys.
What are some things that you've learned from the three guys that went to the NFL, and what kind of lasting impact have they left on this young room?
They just showed us what it takes, the hard work you got to put in every day, the toughness, composure, resiliency, connection, they just showed us what it takes to, go all the way.
This defense lost like 8 draft picks, something like that. How much of a drop off? Do you think there will be a drop off given all that talent, or do you think you guys just plug in the next high level player and produce as well?
Well, we had a really good fall camp, so I feel like we're just gonna keep pushing, working to be a better, the best selves.
You said a really good fall camp. What makes you say that? What stood out to you about this defense in general across the practices?
I just seen us getting better every day. I seen the guys putting in the work. Seeing everybody coming in, pushing each other. Holding each other accountable. So yeah, I feel like we'll be all right.
On an individual level, where do you think you grew the most throughout this fall camp? And as you enter this second season here, where do you think you still have to grow?
Where I grew the most, I feel like I got a better understanding of the defense now, and I feel like I really stepped up vocally. So yeah.
Do you know anything about Jamon Dumas Johnson before he got here? Before you guys arrived together last fall, do you know anything about him?
I had hit him up before he got here, and then we didn't really click. But when he got here, we clicked, and Jamon's one of my best friends.
When he's out there on the field, what do you see from him? What makes him such a good linebacker?
Jamon, he's smart, physical, fast, tough. He's everything you want in a linebacker.
Can you tell there's more on Coach Schuman's plate as co-defensive coordinator, and how do you think the combination of him and New World Mustang's going to do?
I'm going to do real good.
What are some things that y'all have as a defense as a whole, like goals this year? Like Kirby talked about, I think, a couple Saturdays ago, just more sacks, more QB hurries. What are some things for this linebacker group that you guys are hoping to focus on this season?
Really just being the best version of ourselves as we can be, honestly.
What do you think for you right now where you're at? Do you need to make the biggest leap in a part of your game?
That's a good question. Where I need to make the biggest leap at? That's a tough question. Probably just, our DNA traits, probably composure, toughness, resiliency.
Coach Barr kind of mentioned your physicality too. That's something he wanted to see improve a little bit. How much better do you think you've gotten in that department between in spring practice and right now?
I put on some good weight during this off season, got a lot stronger, so I probably should have.
How much are you right now, if you don't mind me asking?
225.
Is that like an ideal weight for you, or you still want to be maybe a little bigger just to keep speed?
That's an ideal weight, I feel like.
What's it like playing behind Jalen Carter?
Jalen Carter's a real good dude, real good athlete. It's real good playing, with all these guys.
Have you seen him become a more vocal, more outspoken leader for this team this year, given he has more on his plate and he is now an upperclassman?
Yeah, but honestly, I feel like we have a lot of good leaders, up front in the D-line.
Smael, I've got to ask you, man. I mean, growing up, how much was your first name mispronounced as a kid growing up? And even today, is that something that's still like an everyday occurrence? Kind of what about that story?
Yeah, it's like I'm used to it now. So yeah.
How many different pronunciations have you heard of your first name?
I don't heard Smael, a lot of different stuff, but yeah, it's Smael.
Last year, the skull sessions that you guys did got really popularized. I assume you guys continue to do things like that. How much are you hanging out with the other guys in the linebacker group and defense outside of school and practice? Are you guys spending a lot of time together just hanging out? And how much do you think that matters?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, I feel like that matters a lot. As you said, like, you know, with the team last year, the school season was a big part of our success. So as long as we stay connected, you know each other's why, all that, I feel like we'll be good.
What do you think's what's your favorite thing to do with the other players when it's not football related?
Favorite thing to do? Probably play Madden. Play Madden. I play Madden with Pop a lot.
Who's your team?
Team, I usually like to switch up a lot, but I haven't gotten the new Madden yet. But my team's usually the Cardinals.
Is there a player you go with, like, that's my guy, more like Kyler Murray or something?
It used to be Deshaun Watson with the Texans, but lately it's been Kyler Murray. Yeah, I like Kyler Murray a lot, man.
Who do you look up to in the league? Guys that you try to model your game after?
I look up to a lot of different guys in like different positions, like Isaiah Simmons. I look up to Tyrann Matthew. Just guys like that fly around and just play fast.
Smael, I apologize if you're going to repeat yourself a little bit at this point, I was over there, but at this point, you know, obviously you've been cracking heads with your teammates for a long time. How eager are you guys to get to a game, to get to Oregon, get to the season, and kind of fulfill the roles that you've been working so hard to earn at this point?
Yeah, of course we're really excited. You know, we all play for Saturday nights, but I feel like right now we're more so focused on practice, just getting better before that time.
What's your level of confidence, would you say, that to do everything that comes with playing inside linebacker in Georgia?
I'm confident. I'm pretty confident, yeah.
In the secondary, I mean, Malachi coming in as a freshman, you think we'll see him sometime early in the year, or you know, what can he bring to the team?
Malachi's a really good player.
Earlier in fall camp, Coach Smart talked about that he thinks you're as athletic a guy as he's seen an inside linebacker. What does something like that do for you? Is that something that motivates you to hear a head coach saying something like that?
Like I said, it's a real honor hearing that from Coach Smart, of course, with all the linebackers he's coached over the years. But as far as what it does for me, it doesn't really change much. You know, it didn't really change how I work. You know, I just try to keep pushing myself as hard as I can.
What would you think just so far of your performance through fall camp and just getting ready for the start of the year?
I just want to keep getting better. Really. I'm not really satisfied where I'm at right now, so just keep pushing, getting better every day.
Everybody knows about the three dudes who succeeded you, all playing in the NFL right now, in camps. The narrative is that there's got to be a drop off. I mean, those guys were really experienced and really talented. Do you guys as linebackers believe that there'll, you know, there's going to be a little bit of drop off there? Or are you convinced that you can do exactly what's been done last year and years before in linebacker?
Well, you know, it was great sitting behind them last year, learning from them. You know, they taught us a lot. But we're not necessarily focused on comparing ourselves to what happened last year. We're more so worried about being the best version of ourselves as we can be.
Is there anything specific you feel like you learned from those guys, like Coben, Quay, Channing? Anything that really sticks out that you learned playing behind them?
Just tough. Those guys are real tough, you know. Game in and game out, you know. Monday practices, you know, they're all injured, banged up, and they just kept pushing. So they just showed me how to push through, like, whatever, and just be tough.
Are you the fastest of the linebacker group? Who's the fastest?
Who's the fastest? That's not really something I can, like, speak on myself. Y'all gonna have to tell me that.
That's for us to decide.
Yeah, that's for y'all to decide.
What's the biggest improvement you've seen in your game from the start of freshman year and now?
I feel like the weight I added on really it's been helping me a lot. But more so just understanding the game better. Because whenever you understand the game better, I feel like it slows down a bit. And then you really just be able to process everything better. So I think my weight and better understanding.
How much weight did you put on that time?
I had lost some weight after my surgery, but I ended up coming back up to, I'm like 225 right now. So I wasn't sure how much I lost.
How complex, you mentioned learning the defense, and we see a lot of different fronts that Georgia does. I mean, how tough is it to learn the Georgia defense?
Well, it's different for everybody, but for me, it was pretty tough learning it, but I feel like I'm just learning it better and better every day.
Is it secondary in nature too? You're still thinking a little bit out there. Would you say? How would you describe your comfort level or instincts in this defense at this stage?
I mean, you could always be better, so that's really the goal I'm working on right now. Just trying to learn more ins and outs of it.
Would you describe yourself as being patient to get to this opportunity finally, or would you say impatient? It was hard to have to wait behind those guys, especially feeling like maybe you could contribute.
Could you repeat the question?
Do you feel like that you waited patiently, or were you kind of chomping at the bit to get your opportunity, which you're getting this year? Obviously, you had to wait behind those other guys.
Maybe like impatiently patient, because of course like everybody wants to play, but
Right.
it takes time. You gotta just develop.
You still talking to Kobe or Clay or them? You like contact? What do y'all-
Yeah, those are my guys for life, man. I always keep in contact with those guys.
Like he was mentioning earlier, the public perception has been this defense is going to be worse. Whether that's true or not, what would you see is different about this defensive unit from last year's? I mean, what sticks out to you that maybe isn't the same?
Well, I mean, there's different people,
Yeah.
of course, so it's gonna be like different personalities and stuff out there. But
But on the field, like, what is there something that you guys maybe do differently, better, worse, whatever you think?
on the field, I'm not really too sure, honestly, how to answer that.
What have you been focused on through summer and even in the fall camp? Ways you want to get better for the year?
Through summer and camp, it was really more so just getting stronger and getting my weight back since I had that surgery.
How has that process been? Just adding on the weight.
Yeah, it's been good.
We got time for 2 more questions.
What's your, is it gonna be weird seeing Dan Lanning over there in green and yellow and wearing the head coach's headset across the field?
Is it gonna be weird? I'm not really so sure about weird because like it's college football, everybody moves around, especially if you're as good of a coach as Coach Lennon. So it's gonna be exciting to see them again.
What do you think your strengths are as far as what you can do really well? I know you said there's always room to get better, and very modest in this interview. But what are some attributes that we're going to see from you moving forward here in Georgia?
There's a reason Kirby sent you out here. You don't just pick guys randomly. You must be doing something good.
My strengths.
You a hitter, a closer, how would you describe yourself? Best open field tackler?
I'm not really like a guy to like brag on myself or anything like that. I want to leave it up to y'all to tell me what my best strengths are. So I'm gonna leave it up to y'all to tell me.
Thanks, Smael.
All right, thank